GM everybody, this is Neil from Kayat. So today I would like to talk about an amazing UX features that is actually, bringing the Web3 UX to the next level in our industry. So first of all, as a context, Kayat is an EVM chain, so we have been the exclusive messengers layer 1 for both Line messengers and Kakao Talk. And we have been embracing the focus on, mobile first, mobile only super app, because that's, that is based on the messengers. And we are also embracing 250 million users, monthly active users, thanks to the messengers, for both messengers combined together. And as a EVM layer 1, we are very much looking into a high throughput EVM chain that is really focusing on the UX and maybe I would say, improving the UX problems that we have compared with different EVM chains, or maybe from the tech foundation where everybody has been basing on when you were building your layer 1 Ethereum. So our mission is very clear. For our ecosystem, we are very much focusing on onboarding the 250 million users from the messengers that is from the Web2. We are laser focused to bring them from the Web2 to the Web3, and also allowing builders to scale, with turnkey crypto, fiat payment, so many features that they will be able to use, and so many use cases that they will be built and actually onboard more liquidity and more, I would say, volumes like that to our layer 1. For Kayat, for the context, we are EVM layer 1 as usual. When I say usual, I mean Kai is actually coming from a merger between the Kakao blockchain called Clayton and also the Finshare, which is the Line blockchain from last year. So Kai actually inherited the layer 1 from Clayton, which was built more than 5 years ago, and that's why the network has been very stable and producing over 2.6 billion transactions already over the 5 years, and also more than 190 million like that for the blocks that we have ever produced during the course of almost 5 years. And if you really look into the tech stack of it, we are fully EVM compatible, so I would say equivalence. So we support any of the EVM tools, logics, EIP, fast and reliable, low gas. And this is the reason why bring us to this talk is all about the gas abstraction. So first, we do have a fee allegations. And from this year, we're looking into user can pay gas with other tokens, for example, the USDT on Kayat. So the 1 second finality is what we are also embracing, which is the kind of immediate finality. So what you see is what being finalized already. So this is quite standard for EVM layer 1. Now, guess what? I mean, when we get to the bottom of it, maybe since the inception of Ethereum yellow paper back in 2015, so we know that we need gas fee is required to execute transactions on the network, especially that is exclusively, you need the native gas token by default to do that. With the gas, we can compensate the validators to uphold the network security and functionality, and at the same time is actually looking into if that will be inscriptions happen, for example, that leading to the network congestions. So we are looking into it, that could be a deterrent for the network to, I would say, in response to anything DOS attack. And gas fee is really here to making sure we remain both operational and secure for the layer 1 network. Now, getting into a bit deeper, right? When we think about UX problems related to gas, straightforward when any devs architect you have a layer 1 or say like EVM layer 1, straight away they will say, you know what? I'm gonna put a very low gas like peppercorn gas, like really, really minimum that maybe 1 of the 100 of what Ethereum is causing right now. So as today, Clayton or Kayat have been doing that already. So no test cost, lower transaction cost on users, which means that the users will be very happy for that. Now, onto the gas payment in native gas token by default. I want to have a quick show of hands from the audience. Like, do you have any experience that you want to send transactions, but you don't have a native gas tokens, then you don't know what to do with it? some sort of hands, some people don't show up, probably they get a big bags of paying for the gas, I don't know. But anyway, so it's just a little bit meme-rigged there. Just in order to have the transactions on any of the EVM, you need to have the native gas token to do so. This experience that which is a fragmented UX, which add complexity and friction, I would say, that which is still the most pressing US problem as of today when we are, operating our layer 1 and growing our layer 1. So then it leads to, okay, so if you don't have these, if you don't want to have this problem, you were trying to solve it. There's so many examples that people are looking at the gas abstraction. And with the gas abstraction, the key point right here is to abstracting away the complexity of the gas fee for the transaction to be processed in any layer 1. And it has been going up and going further onto the industry trend already that is, becomes a standard in the industry right now. So first we were thinking about, oh, it's nice to have that. I could use token other than the native gas token to pay for the gas. But now they're more like looking into, oh, this must be a core UX involved. Core UX requirement right now for everybody, excuse me. So users now expect gas abstractions as a standard in our industry right now. Now, within the EVM ecosystem or from the Ethereum, there has been a lot going on when it comes to gas abstractions. So I think back in 2023, before the FCC 202, I think that was the time that announced the account abstraction by Vitalik. So 4337 came in. What happens that it enables smart contract, to be the account that abstract away the complexity of gas management from the user. So basically, start seeing Paymaster, you start seeing you'll be able to use other ERC20 tokens to settle transactions on Ethereum or any other EVM chain. And then we are looking into, 2771, we have the secure native matter transaction. What does it do? So you have a trusted forwarders right there for you in the smart contract standard. The whole thing is contract level implementations that is relying on the relayers for the relayers to pay for the gas on behalf of the users, which is very similar to fee delegations. So on and so forth, you have the permit functions, enable Gasless token approval. Gasless token approval, yes. So with all this, it simplifies how users interact with the decentralized application. And for Kaya, what would be our strategy and features about gas abstraction? So we are thinking in the same way that okay, so first of all, Kaya could be an option to settle the gas fee, but there should be more tokens in our ecosystem that could do the same thing as a gas fee payment. So as a coin to support the gas fee payment. So we are thinking about has been implement our own unique GA architectures, while others are still relying on a quite, I would say, relayers or centralized service provider like a third-party paymaster. And we are here to looking into exploring, and which is already implemented already, trustless gasless transaction model on the protocol level, which is based onto the protocol level that is with the trustless mindset other than a contract level implementation. Now, with that, we are very happy. From a grumpy man becomes a happy man right now. Like, the guy on the left is very confident that he got or she got more options right now to settle the transactions on Kaya. But from the UI perspective, what is it going to be looking like for the user? So basically, if you have zero Kaya and you want to go ahead with the Kaya transactions, what's going to happen is that there's going to be a pop-up right there asking you, do you want to use other coins right there that is support the Gasless transaction that would be able to using as a gas token for this transaction that you're going to send out. If you really put it on the wallet application as an example, so basically most of the tokens on the Kaya ecosystem, if they do support the Gasless support, if they do support the Gasless transactions, there will be obviously a check right there from the SDK to see whether these tokens support it. If that support automatically, that will be one of the options. If the user does not have any Kaya, obviously you only have an options like that, which is the alternate coins other than Kaya. And we also come across some kind of, I wouldn't say misunderstanding, but Gasless could be really confusing sometimes for Web2 native or Web3 native users right there, they might be thinking about, and the memes right here is, oh, Gasless, nice, Neil. So is it free? I don't have to pay for any gas. Just being upfront right here is you just pay the gas in another way, but via the Gasless transactions that we have on the protocol level. Now we get to the main part of how Kaya enable gas abstractions right now. So the key point is based on one of our improvement proposal from our ecosystem, the 247. So that is based on the gasless transactions. So the mechanism basically, again and again, that is you have the gasless transactions while user can swap whitelisted fungible token on Kaya into the Kaya without processing any Kaya to pay for the gas. So basically, the transaction flow for the gasless transaction will be more like the block proposer, which is, in our language, the validators, the consensus node. They temporarily lends the required gas fee in Kaya to the user for the token swap. When the token swap happens, the user uses the borrow Kaya to execute a swap transactions. So GA token returns to be Kaya and set to the gas rack there for the Kaya transactions. And the user will repay the borrow Kaya from the Kaya received via the swap. And with the remaining Kaya, they will just go on for whatever transaction they would like to go for. For example, in this case, game-related transaction. So that tokens will be paid for that on that. Now, the 247 does come with some conditions. So when the users has no Kaya balance, but they hold some kind of GA supported tokens on the Kaya ecosystem, then the wallet uses a gasless transactions and allowing the gas fee to be settled with a GA support tokens. And if the user has no Kaya, the gasless transaction must be enforced. If the user has some Kaya, so they have some options to pick which token that they will be using to settle the transactions. Now, for the 247, how does it work actually is, first of all, the proposer will be injecting the land transactions onto the on the pipeline of the transaction pool first, and then there will be approved transactions, swap transaction, or the game transactions based on the example that I just provide. And then on top of it, the land transaction will land over the Kaya required for the transaction sender to pay for the gas on Kaya for that transaction that they're going to send. But we need to always have a mindset of, I wouldn't say mindset, but there always something happen. Like, what about one of the transactions does not go on and maybe one of them got reverted? And that was why our amazing tech team from Kaya contribute to think about, or maybe it's time for us to have a transaction bundle standard, which come up with another 245, which is KRP 245 that we think of. So what happened is, imagine, for the gasless transaction perspective, land transaction, approved transaction, swap, and game, etc., it becomes a bundle of the transactions that they have. And if there's any transaction within this bundle, fail or reverted, the whole gasless transaction will not be going on. So what happened is the block must be produced, and then there will be no more gasless transaction included in that block. So that is a little bit example for the transaction bundle that you can see the land transactions being signed by the proposer, which is the validators in this case. And you also have the approved transactions, swap transactions, and the game transactions actually going out from the users, signed by the users. And this is how they're going to swap the gas in the Kaya token. And that's how they're going to use the swap functions, the swap transactions right there, to get Kaya token to pay for the gas for their own transactions with the borrow amount from the validators. Now, on protocol level, it seems working, but then fine. But then how are we going to get that onto the dApp level or even Mini-DApps level? That's the key point, right? So yeah, so whenever you have some protocol features like that, you'll be relying on the SDK and all this kind of API and features that you will have, and then dApps will just interacting with the SDK API right there directly. So So gas abstractions actually function provide in the Kaya SDK to generate and send the gasless transactions. So it just supports everything about 247 as conform. And the conditional gasless mode, as I mentioned already, when the user has no Kaya, the gasless transaction must be enforced. If they do have some Kaya, they will have an options. And there are a few more, which is not too major, I would say, but that is just some checking on whether a gasless, like a GA token, whether they are GA support token, so that they would be some candidates for the Mini-DApps as well for the transactions to support the gas abstractions. Now, this is a strategic visions that we talk about right here. With the GA, gas abstractions, that is actually future-proofing for a Mini-DApps ecosystem on Kaya. We could integrate GA now and ensure a long-term compatibility with the growing Mini-DApps ecosystem that we are having, and it will become the foundations and standard for the Mini-DApps as well. I would say from now on, because we have just launched the features right there, and we are looking to have it in the mainnet very soon. And the future gas token possibility, that could be more choices in our ecosystem, that more options, I would say, that would be supporting more GA support tokens that we could see in our ecosystem, so that users will be having more flexibilities about type of the backs that they have to go for the Kaya transactions in a second. So yeah, so it's not really a trade-over, but I would say, so we have the Kaya gas abstractions, open business. We do have different, I would say, campaign right there. Actually, it's not gas-free, but we're trying to make it to sponsor the gas payment for them, so as we could see more USDT right there could be used during the gas abstractions that we have. So we see more transaction about gas abstraction that will be using USDT. So that would be also one of the major use cases for our native stable coins as well. And for users, they have the gas pay, transaction confirm, everything ready right there, as it is, as if they just pay in the Kaya token. And actually back in 2020, very similar to the relayer implementations that we have on the Matter transactions. Actually, back in 2020, we already have the concept of fee delegations deployed already. So basically, we have a transaction type of fee delegated transaction. And we also have a role key that is for the fee payer to make it happen for a user. The services is actually paying the gas fee on behalf of the users. Now we get to the summary very quickly. By the way, if you're really interested in looking into the whole KIP that we have about gasless transactions or transaction bundles that you'd like to see, you just click the link to have a look. And really, when we look into that, limiting to have the native gas token payment for the gas that we have is really a contribute. I would say attribute to these fragmented, Web3 UX that we are having, and most importantly, by including the gas abstractions, we can abstracting the complexity of gas fee and transaction with the native gas payment on Kaya, and most importantly, with our introductions of the gas abstractions methodologies right here, we are looking into the gas transactions to enable it, but it is very important that this is trustless, network native features, which you don't need to really require for any hard fork to achieve that later on, if you were to onboard to have more GA features. And at the same time, this allows users to cover the gas with more than just native gas token like USDT. So no Kaya, no problem whenever you like to send in any Kaya transactions in the way. Now I will go very quickly about some ecosystem initiatives. So basically for Kaya, we are Mini-DApps ecosystem, messengers layer 1. We're having a lot of opportunities for our amazing developers right here to build the Mini-DApps and get the distribution channel, which is very effective to the 250 million monthly active users from the messengers. And we have on board so far already 130 million users via the Mini-DApps merely. So out of the 1,000 project pool, we have on board 83 projects, and we are looking for 300 projects by the end of this year. And a month ago, we did launch our native stablecoin implementations on Kaya with Tether. So we have the native USDT, and what is going to happen is we're embracing stablecoin summer. We need more use cases that will be taking the Mini-DApps as a distribution channel. So what is going to happen, this stablecoin summer hackathon will be focusing on professional builders at least with a team or project. And if you are amazing builders building some project already on other ecosystem and you're looking to build a Mini-DApps right here on Kaya to make use of the distribution channel, open arm and feel free to join this hackathon. And there will be over millions prize pool that we have already confirmed, which will be announced in the upcoming few weeks. Now with that, Kaya is Asia's super app chain and mobile-first gateway to Web3, and most importantly with the stablecoin, we hope to be the gateway of stablecoin in Asia as well, and which is what we have been trying to push. If you're interested, you want to see more and you want to get to connect more about Kaya, feel free to go hop onto one of the links right here to get more information about it. With that, that will be everything that I'm trying to cover today. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for having Kaya at FCC. Thank you.